This episode was off the chain. Let's get into it. But first, a little housekeeping, and I'll be right back. Before we get into this recap, I just want to remind all the ladies about DAC's annual Valentine's Day celebration. This year is going to be a brunch. Valentine's Day is all about sisterhood, friendship, encouragement, and women empowerment, no matter what your relationship status is. The tickets for this event are $45 and will include a delicious buffet-style brunch. Also, you will have unlimited mimosas so you can get as tipsy as your heart desires. We're going to have all kinds of fun, giveaways, door prizes. Not to mention, saxophonist Kelvin Evans will be in the building playing this music throughout the day. And then if you're into hookah, we have the best hookah in St. Louis. Heavy Smoke 314 will be in the building. Now, ladies, you don't want to delay on getting your tickets because space is limited. You can get your tickets by Cash Apping $DAIQS 5956. Again, $DAIQS 5956. If you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me. I promise you don't want to miss this good vibe at DAX, which it always is. Now, let's get into this recap. Child, now I don't know what they was thinking about. Everybody's so messy. AWTM with the news you can use. TV shows and your latest celebrity news. Follow me on Facebook, Elise. YouTube, AWTM, TikTok, Elise with the message. Now let's get into it. So we are about to recap Season 3, Episode 12, titled The Crossroads. On the last episode, Madam was getting arrested. She didn't put up a resistance or a fight. She just handled it with grace. Meanwhile, we get to the police station. District Attorney Rose is on the phone looking disappointed. Madam immediately asked for a lawyer, and she didn't want to say anything. But it looks like she got some bad news, the DA did, that is. Now, I don't know what's the beef between her and Madam, but look at that smirk on her face. She's like, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. So the DA joins the police officer and tells him or asks him, did she put up any resistance or fight? He says no. And she said Carla, which is her sister, dropped the charges, so she lets her go. Meanwhile, everyone's outside waiting on Madam. She tells them that she wants to see them all at the funeral, and Carla did drop the charges. Then we go over to Midnight. He's asking about Big D, which is still in the basement of the club. What should he do with him? And she said, don't worry about it. He's okay. Now, we're back over to Babyface with his begging homeless ass. Now, Miss Patty took care of all his bills and everything, had him an apartment, a car, and I don't know where Babyface money is going, but he's homeless right now and begging for a place to stay. So he asked Doc and he asked Midnight, and they're like, no, we have plans. We're not going to be able to do it. So Fuego decides to go and help Big D out. He did see what was happening to him in the basement on the previous episode. So he decides to go get him. He tells him he's a good guy. He just wants to help him and that he can stay at his place overnight until he decides what to do. Now, I don't know how hard this is going to come back to bite Fuego, but sometimes he be tripping. So we'll see. Then we go to old Babyface homeless ass at Miss Tandy's door. They're trying to work out some kind of arrangement or agreement about him staying there. Her husband is in the hospital. So she lets him know that he can stay there as long as her husband is in the hospital. And, she's going to pay to play, rather. So he's all for it. He has a nice place to stay. And he gets some money in his pocket. Then we cut back over to Tommy and Madam. So Tommy makes Madam this great breakfast. And I guess he's trying to make up for all the things that he messed up on. He messed up with Big D. He messed up with Concierge. So he's trying to make up. So she tells him if he doesn't get his act together, he's going to go back to being an eater, a maid, and a chef. I heard that. All right. Then we go over to Blue. She calls Madam and lets her know that Big D is gone from the basement. She doesn't know what happened to him, but when she came to the club and looked in the basement, he was no longer there. So she's asking her what should she do. So Madam tells her we'll handle it after the funeral. Now, who's waking up in Doc's bed? Nobody but Detective Davis. So she wakes up in Doc's bed expecting to have it go down for another time. But Doc's like, no, you have to get up out of here. I have somewhere to go. And proceeds to make her get up, put her clothes on, get dressed, and get out of there. Also, Doc, look at those glasses. Now, Babyface, that's how you wear some glasses. Doc is fine. She talks to Doc about, is she able to trust Madam? You know, is she able to help her? Can he talk to her for him? And he's like, I can't do any of that. Just get the information that you're supposed to get. And she tells him about concierge and her people having eyes on them. So I'm sure he's going to relay that information to Madam. Now, it seems like this is the episode of everyone waking up because Big D wakes up on Fuego's couch. He talks to him about really, does he want to leave town or what does he really want to do? And he's saying, if you were me, what would you do? And Fuego was like, I really don't know what I would do. So that's up to you. Also, Babyface wakes up, Prize living in a lap of luxury in Miss Tandy's bed. He's happy. He feels like he has it made. He's living the life. Like he can get used to this and he loves it. And Miss Tandy comes in the room. She's already kind of fully dressed. She has on a nice black dress and she's looking for some action, I would suspect. So it's going to probably go down again. She's telling him that she's going to give him a key so she can get everything popping when she wants to get it popping. And you know how Miss Tandy is. So before she leaves or he leaves for the funeral, they get down again. Now, we're at the funeral. Madam arrives to the funeral and she's just kind of walking in. Everybody's waiting around for her. Everybody from the club. She's walking towards everybody dressed to the nines, might I add. Madam doesn't play about two things. The first thing is her money, and the second thing is her fashion. Those shades, that hat, that dress, all of it, I was here for it. And look how good Doc looks in those glasses. I never noticed what kind of sex appeal that Doc had before this episode, but I was really feeling Doc. Let me know if y'all feeling Doc. So they continue to walk in and everybody's kind of turned around greeting her. Her daddy had all the women, all the hoes, okay? James Cadillac DeVille did not play. It seems like there was full of women crying and sobbing over him. As Madam continues to walk in, Fuego joins the party and he says, no matter what's going on between us, I'm sorry. She says, okay. She continues to walk along and see everybody and kind of greet people. Then Trouble stands her dumb and dumb herself up trying to speak to Madam and talk to her and again gets shut down. I don't know why she doesn't get it, that she just should just stay in her place and not try to talk to Madam or be in her face all the time, but she doesn't. So as Madam gets to the front, she is greeted by Carla. Carla is her sister that she did kind of injure and puncture her chest on the last episode. And she learns that Carla is out of the hospital and feeling fine. Carla kind of leans in and tells her that she knows about their father, that he's still alive. He did give her some money. He came to the hospital to see her and he wants them to work together. So she's asking Madam, can she work with her? That is her father's wishes, both of their father's wishes, but under no circumstances will Madam work with her. She tells her that she doesn't trust her. She doesn't want to see her. She actually told Blue to kind of get rid of her after the funeral, meaning make sure she doesn't come around anymore. But Carla seems determined to work with Madam for some reason. I don't know why. So we then cut back to Dumb and Dumber, which is Trouble and Champ. And Trouble is like, I can't believe she acted like she didn't see us. And Champ was like, she didn't see you. So Trouble really needs to learn how to stay in her place and sit her ass down somewhere. Then we cut back over to Carla. She's able to get up out the wheelchair so she can make a speech or give the eulogy for her dad. She made it up to the mic and the podium and she begins to speak. So she starts going on and on about her dad and how much she loved him. And then it turns into something about her, how she was stabbed. And I guess trying to make Madam feel guilty and going on and crying and doing the most. Blue asks if she go ahead and wrap this up, like get her out the way. And Madam is like, no, go ahead and let her speak. So she's really bringing in the dramatics. And if you don't know who her sister Carla is, she played Ronnie in Players Club. So that's very interesting as well. But she goes on with the dramatics, so much so that Madam has to light a cigarette. As she's smoking her cigarette, she notices there's something flying in the sky. There's a buzzing sound. So as that buzzing sound continues to get louder and louder, she's looking more. Then she starts to stand up and wonder where it's coming from and start to look around. She already feels like something isn't right. They already have sharpshooters and guns and artillery at the funeral just in case, but it looks like it's about to go down. Then, out of nowhere, we got action. Bullets flying everywhere, causing mayhem and chaos. People are running, screaming. Then all of these people come from nowhere and start shooting. So she already had armed people or people distributed through the crowd. Tommy picks Madam up and starts running to the truck with her. He is running like he's going to save her life, like he is the best Captain Saver in the world. I wish I had a Tommy, because Tommy goes hard for Madam. Do you hear me? So as they're running and running, she tells Tommy to put her down. So when they get to the truck, after he puts her down with all this shooting going on and everything that's going on, this chaos, Madam is looking very distraught. They open the trunk and there's all these weapons there. AK-47s, machine guns, any kind of gun that you would need to actually go to war. So they grab the guns quickly from the trunk and they start firing. All of them are firing at this airplane, drone, whatever it is. They did not show actually what it was in the sky, but look at them. Now these are strippers, a host from a strip club, and just, you know, genuine. You think these people are just like regular citizens. No, they are trained assassins. I think Madam must have trained all of them, because look at the formation they have, and they have no problem handling these guns. Now this is heavy machinery and they have no problem handling like pros. So I'm sure she put everybody that works for her, that she trusts, under some kind of tactical training. She had to. So the shooting finally stops and she's asking, is everyone okay? Blue tells her it was just like some warning shots. Nobody got hurt. So she says this funeral is over. Let's wrap this up and get ready for the club. Back at the police station, Casanova and District Attorney Rose have a conversation about Madam possibly being the one that hurt Miss Tandy's husband. And she's like, Miss Tandy told me she did, but we all know that's not true. She didn't actually do it. And Casanova's actually saying he doesn't think that's plausible. So that surprised me as well. Casanova is a real undercover, you know, snitch type guy. He got Detective Davis kicked off the force. So what happens is, while he's talking to her, Big D calls him. Big D is talking to him, telling him that he needs help. That Madam found out who he was, and he was his CI, so he needs help. He tells Big D that you are not working for the police department. I can't put you in protective custody. That's not the way it works. So Big D is like, after I saved your life, and he's like, yeah. So he knows he's wrong for that. Meanwhile, back in Miss Tandy's house, Babyface comes in. She's saying that her husband is not doing too well, right? Explains that, you know, he can stay there as long as her husband is in the hospital. He doesn't want, or she doesn't want to talk about it too much. He said, well, stop talking then, and told her she knows what to do. All I'm going to say is,
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you...
Meanwhile, while Madam's in the car on the way to the club, she gets a call from Detective Davis. Davis says she has eyes on concierge. She needs more money for her surveillance. Madam says no problem. She kind of begs Madam to work for her, but I don't think Madam is feeling it. Then District Attorney Rose pops up on Fuegos trying to get him to flip, and he's like, I'm not having any parts of it. Meanwhile, when Madam gets to the club, she asks to speak to Trouble. So Trouble comes in, and she asks her to explain herself. Why would you tell Miss Tandy that I had you rob her? So she's telling her, she didn't mean to do it, and all of the other stuff that she did for her. She's kind of proving herself, and she's like, yeah, you could be in a body bag, but I'm going to take your bag for the day. And Trouble is looking like, what? Yeah, you could have got your whole life taken, so just getting your tip out taken for the night would be no problem. Next, we have the guys in the locker room, and they're kind of asking where Big D is and about him. And Midnight is like, you won't have to worry about him for a while. You don't have to worry about him no more. Then Babyface, he's over there basking in the glory because he has a new trick, which is Miss Tandy. Now, Big D thinks it's a good idea to go talk to Madam, but immediately gets yoked up by Tommy. Tommy had the paws on him and he wasn't letting go. So Madam told him to let him go. So he came in trying to explain himself and why he did what he did, saying that Casanova saved his life previously and he felt in debt to him, but now he wants to work for her. And she said, yes, you're going to work for me and be my informant. And that's what you're going to do. And you're going to go back to being an amateur dancer. Now, Dime's out there getting the club hyped up like she always does, getting all the ladies hyped for the dancers that are about to come out. The ladies are ready. They have their dollars. And then we see the men start to enter the stage. They have on these costumes. They're dancing to some kind of Afro beat song. I forgot what the song was, but it was a freaking sausage party. I mean, if you ordered sausage, they were here for it. It was all over the place. And I wonder, is it really real or are they using some kind of props? I'm very curious about that. I mean, look at that close-up of Midnight. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, all right? Now, Blue tells Babyface he has a private dance. So when he gets up to the private room, there's nobody but big old freak Miss Tandy. And Miss Tandy is there to have some fun with Babyface. And he was like, you couldn't wait till I get home? I guess she couldn't wait. Meanwhile, back downstairs, the police enter the club and Blue approaches them. And they said the government names of Rayshawn, Trouble, and Champ, they are looking for them. And she was like, I don't know anyone by those names. They're not here. But the police could see Trouble and Champ. Look at Trouble. She is getting it for that money she wasn't taking home. So they say, oh, no, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going anywhere. The police get up on the stage and they say, yes, you are, and arrest Trouble and Champ. So I don't know what's going to happen. So they are definitely busted, and I think Miss Tandy told on them, but I don't know what's going to happen for them. It's not looking too good. So that's the end of this week's episode. I promise you I'm going to start doing the episodes earlier. I usually don't do the recap earlier because I want to give people a chance to watch the episode before I do it. But I'm going to start maybe doing it on Friday or Saturday. That way, a good number of people get to watch, or you can just watch my recap. I thank you so much for watching and tuning in. This has been AWTM, and I'll see y'all later on this week. Child, now I don't know what they was thinking about. Everybody's so messy. AWTM with the news you can use. TV shows and your latest celebrity news. Follow me on